Hello, my name is Allison Carmen, and welcome to my podcast, 10 Minutes to Less Suffering. And the name of today's podcast is Do We Create the Distance to Our Happiness? And I'm going to start this episode with a story about a friend of mine. He saved up all his vacation time to go overseas and work on a small family house he inherited through an estate. It's a charming house in a beautiful town by the water. He had never seen the house in person, but in his mind he imagined saving money by doing minor repairs himself. He pictured relaxing days, enjoying his vacation, while fixing a few things here and there. But when he arrived, the house was in bad shape. Instead of resting, he spent the entire trip working and miserable. He said to me, "This was not how my vacation was supposed to be. This wasn't the plan." Now, some of you might be thinking, what's wrong with him? He owns a house overseas. This is just part of owning and renovating, especially if you're doing it yourself. What a great investment. But the issue wasn't the reality. It was the story that he held in his mind. He created distance from his happiness because what he imagined didn't match what he experienced. That story created suffering. It's really fascinating. Most people looking at our lives wouldn't see them the way we do because they're not carrying the same story we are. Most of the time, they're simply seeing it the way it is. It is a reminder that we are the storytellers. And when those stories and the illusions compete with reality, they steal our peace and they steal our happiness. And another way this happens is when we reject the moment we're in because we think what it means for the future. And an example of this is right now I'm watching my friend's daughter. She's just a couple of weeks away from heading to college. She didn't get into her first choice school, but she's going to a great one. She doesn't have a roommate yet, and she doesn't know anyone else going, besides seeing some posts on the school's Instagram account of different new students coming to the school. In her mind, it's already going to be bad. She doesn't have the guarantees she wants, so she's been feeling down. And yet, many of us looking at the situation know college can be a beautiful, possibility-filled time. But she can't see it because she doesn't know. So she's giving up the present, time with friends and family, and maybe even blocking the joy and connection that could be here now. And the same thing might be happening in our own lives. Maybe you haven't met the one. Maybe you haven't found the job. Maybe you want to buy a home but can't see the path. So today feels wrong and sad because the future is uncertain. And you know how I feel about uncertainty. I see it as an open field, alive with potential. It excites me. But for many, uncertainty becomes the distance from their happiness. So again, here are two stories. One is the moment is wrong, and the other one is the future is wrong. But both of them are stories that create distance from reality, and that's where we create the gap of suffering. So what can we do? I've talked about these things on the podcast before, but we all know how easy it is to expect the day to be a certain way, to expect a trip to be a certain way, to expect a meeting to be a certain way. And there's nothing wrong with intentions. Where it gets sticky is that when the event is happening, if we stay with that expectation, you can have a goal, you can have a dream, again, you can have an intention, but if you stick with that expectation, you are going to resist the moment. You're going to resist the meeting. You're not going to see what the possibilities are. You're going to be in a bad mood. You're not going to be able to pivot because you're going to be stuck in the way you thought it was going to be. If you go to a party, if you go out somewhere and you're so sure you're not going to meet new people, then you're going to behave in that way. Your heart is going to be closed in that way. If you don't think it's possible to get a job, you're not going to make those calls. You're not going to send those resumes out. So just remember that it's the expectation that makes us stiff, that makes us not flexible with what can be. And it's the story. It has to be this way to be okay. And again, we can understand why someone going on vacation wants it to be good. But the minute it is what it is, we have a choice. We could resist, or we could go where life is taking us. And it's not saying if you have a problem and the hotel is bad and you don't ask to switch. It's not about that. It's literally about what is in front of you, what do you have to face, where is life guiding you, and what is actually happening. Sometimes it is what it is, and our ability to show up for that allows us to enjoy what there is. And maybe he was just going to be miserable building that house, but maybe he would have the sun on his face at some point, or drink a nice cup of tea, or maybe he could say, I'm learning things, or this is the path to my home ownership, whatever it's going to be. But we are usually the one digging the hole when life is guiding us. He's creating something. Life is always creating something. And the minute you can realize that, and the minute you can let go, and the minute you could stop resisting, you are going to be able to get everything that moment is offering you. Whether it's knowing, whether it's an experience, whether it's joy, whether it's happiness. But a lot of our suffering comes from resisting what is and holding on to the story of our lives. And it actually stops us from moving forward. And if you look at the story about my friend's daughter going to college, she is also tainting the moment through the story of what tomorrow will be. And tomorrow is unwritten. Uncertainty is our best friend, because if you want your life to change, it has to happen in the unknown. And it's the perfect time for someone like her to do the maybe practice. And she could list her biggest fears. We could all list our biggest fears. This college is not going to be good. I'm never going to meet anybody. I'm never going to fall in love. I'm never going to get that job. Things are never going to change, whatever it is. And then you ask yourself, am I absolutely certain that fear or thought is true? And the beauty of life is you cannot be certain of anything. So that means all your fears, all your negativities, all your stories, we don't know if they're true either. We don't know what's going to happen next, which means that the infinite field is full of potential and your life is full of potential. And we need to stay on the playing field to manifest, to be available, to be open, to learn, to grow, to expand, and to achieve and to dream, all of it. And then after you have this realization, you start to do maybe statements. Maybe everything is going to be wonderful. Maybe everything will be okay. Maybe there are many ways to be okay. Maybe that job I'm looking for will happen. Maybe that party I'm going to Saturday night, I will meet somebody. Maybe I will love my roommate. Maybe I'll love the people that live on my floor. Whatever your maybe statements are, but it reminds you that there's other possibilities other than your negative thought or your fear. We don't realize that our resistance and our stories and our fear of the unknown, how it takes our happiness and creates our suffering. I am not saying that there aren't struggles and challenges in life, but we also partake in it through our fears and our worries and our inability to accept what is, to not resist, to make the best of whatever is in front of us, and to know that what we seek is seeking us. Our dreams are real. Uncertainty is full of potential, and life is always unfolding. Life is always singing. It's actually singing a song to us. We forget that. Sometimes we think life is against us, and we don't realize that we are against life, that we don't relax our body and open up to what is before us and allow the moment to be and see what it is offering you and allow the moment to turn into a beautiful future. Also, when we're open, we connect with that infinite field. We connect with all that's possible, and we will make decisions that align with ourselves and therefore align with our future. And you have what it takes to be present. You have what it takes to accept what is. You have what it takes to grow. You have what it takes to let go. You have what it takes to look into the unknown and feel hopeful. Because maybe everything is okay in this moment. Maybe everything will be okay. Maybe being uncomfortable doesn't mean things are bad. Maybe there are more possibilities that you could imagine in the moment. Maybe life is bringing you something and you just need to open up. Maybe this will turn out to be a blessing. Maybe you will find something to heal your health. Maybe you will understand things more over time. Maybe there is no reason to worry. Maybe life is better than you think. And most of all, maybe the best is yet to come. Thank you for listening to this podcast today. If you'd like to get in touch with me, you could email me at allison@allisoncarmen.com. If you'd like to buy my books, The Gift of Maybe, A Year Without Men, Maybe Everything's Okay, A Parent's Guide to Less Stress and Worry, they're available in all major bookstores and online retailers. If you'd like to buy my Maybe cards or my Maybe digital journal, they're available on Etsy and my Stan store. And most of all, if you like this podcast, I hope you subscribe and leave a comment.